So if you're not in a traditional studio, not a professional studio, what's the bare minimum you need to record? You need a computer as your workstation, multi-track recorder. I'm not saying that analog recording is not a great and viable way to make records, but it's more expensive. It implies more knowledge, more space, more equipment. So while I'm not really going to talk about that much, I don't want to exclude it. It is, if that's what helps you feel creative and inspired, then if you can make that happen, absolutely. But just in terms of in a contemporary modern context, with how available the technology is with computers and how affordable it is, that's what we're going to talk about. So you need a computer. You need the computer needs to have some sort of software program in it, as simple as GarageBand, or there are so many, Ableton. The list is long of all the Performer, Cubase, Pro Tools, all the different things that you can use, Logic. But you need some sort of recording software. Most of that recording software has virtual instruments in it, where you can program drums, and you can create bass lines and melodic patterns, and you have access to samples of strings and all kinds of things, organic and synthesized. Then you need an audio interface to be able to get sound in and out of the computer, because you need to be able to listen to it. But if recording performances with your voice, you will also need a microphone. The microphone needs to be plugged into the interface to get it into the computer, and then you need a way to listen to it, and that can be speakers or headphones. Both would be my recommendation, but as a minimum, you only need one or the other. It's 5 things: the computer with the recording software, an interface, a microphone, and a way to listen, headphones or speakers. And that will complete the setup so that you can get to work and be creative in making a record. So where do you spend your money on the bare minimums? Well, you need to have a computer that's fast enough to keep up with the demands of the software that you're going to be using and the samples. But most modern computers with a current version or somewhat current version of your preferred DAW are sufficient. So you looking at $1,000 to maybe $3,000 to get there. The second thing you need is an audio interface. It needs to be of a good enough quality that you can accurately hear what it is that you're working on. Something that's too cheap will not have the fidelity that will give you a real world perspective of the quality of what you're doing and the way that it is hanging together and the way that it will translate out in the world. And you also need something that has the electronics on the way in for a microphone are of a good enough quality that the sound will be clear and usable. And then that takes us to the microphone. You can spend anywhere from a few $100s to close to $10,000 on a microphone. There are many microphones that are in $1,000 or less that will be great for a voice. You need a way to listen that is of a high enough quality that you can make educated decisions about what it is you're hearing. You want to avoid picking headphones or speakers that are too hyped sounding. Something that accentuates the highs and lows too much, that has too much of a polished and finished sound. Going for something that's more based around studio work versus listening to something at home. So what I'm saying is you would want to buy headphones that are designed for studio use versus something you might go to Best Buy or another big box store to listen to music. You need things that are a little bit more specific to the recording studio process because they have a flatter frequency response. They're a little more neutral sounding, not as colored and hyped. You're able to listen more realistically and assess how the music is fitting together, and that will help it translate as it goes out into the world over a lot of different playback systems and all the different ways that people listen to music.